Today we're going to be talking about a RAKDOS Sacrifice deck. Now, today's deck came about because we were trying to find a home for Karn Living Legacy. And let me tell you guys, I think we found it. This was a deck that I actually ran into on the ladder against an opponent where they played Karn in an Anvil deck, and I wanted to try to build one of my own. And let me tell you guys, this is perfect because Karn makes these Power Stone artifacts that we can sacrifice with the Anvil. So there's a lot of synergies happening here where it then creates this construct token for us to use as a creature. Now we've got some of the familiar faces, things like Smelter and Harvester, to not only create blood tokens, but also sacrificing our artifacts with the Smelter allows us to create 3/1 bodies to attack our opponent with as well. And then we also have some really fun new tools, things like Braids and Weatherlight Completed. Now Braids is going to allow us to sacrifice these construct creature tokens that we create to force our opponent into either sacrificing a creature of their own or allowing us to draw a card and they deal 2 damage to themselves. Weatherlight Completed, while this is going on, is going to be stacking these counters, eventually coming in as a 5/5 body to fly over the top with, or to scry us into some extra tools that we may need. This deck synergies are crazy, and the value is just endless on this deck. So I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy today's gameplay footage, but before I jump into that, just know that there will be a full deck breakdown at the end of today's video. And in the meantime, there's a link below for the full deck list. And if you guys enjoy content like this, if you wouldn't mind giving the video a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, it helps out a ton, and I greatly appreciate it. You guys have been going crazy with the subscriptions lately. The channel's growing like wildfire. We're on the way to 10,000 subscribers. It looks like we might actually hit it by the end of the year, so thank you for that if you've already done that, but I much appreciate it. And with that being said, guys, enjoy today's games. We'll meet you back here at the end. Until then, peace. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we are kicking things off with some Anvil action. We're going to be doing some RAKDOS stuff. We don't ever really play RAKDOS here on the channel, very rarely, so I'm gonna actually be excited. I'm just genuinely really excited about this because we have Karn in the deck. Karn is a card that I've been dying to try out, and I think it fits really well in this deck, believe it or not. So we're gonna be trying out some interesting things here today, man. We're kicking things off with Bloodtithe Harvester, though. It looks like mono blue potentially, so we're gonna want to try to get the beatdown in as quick as possible here. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. Well, I do want to get the Smelter in because, again, if we can just start making some 3/1 bodies, we might be able to outpace them, but I have a feeling this is just going to get countered by a Make Disappear effect. I have 2 of them though, so let's go ahead and give it a shot here. Hopefully it doesn't die, I mean get countered, but I'm sure it does. Essence Scatter, nice. All right, at least we got our 3/2 out here early and already doing its damage, so they're gonna need to figure out a way to beat us in that damage race, which is gonna be tricky for them to do. But once they get out of Haughty Djinn, it is gonna be really tough for us to do anything after that. All right, let's try again. Another Smelter. I hate mono blue so much. All right, there was no priority holds whatsoever there, so I actually think what I'm gonna do here now is I'm gonna play out the Anvil as well. I normally would just eat this token or this blood token up, but instead I'm just gonna go ahead and play out the Anvil while I have the chance, because now the Anvil is going to be passive damage that we can get through without them being able to block it with the Djinn. Nice. And my turn. Yes, we want to make sure we keep this blood token because we can actually kill the Djinn here if this resolves, which we just saw it's pretty likely to do. Nice, it does resolve. All right, so we'll go ahead and do this, get rid of it, and then we will also use our mana here to eat a blood token. Sorry, this deck is actually very complicated. Like as far as the decks I've been playing lately, this one is up there with complication for sure. I could eat an artifact, but if I do that, I don't actually create the construct. So we go ahead and let them scoop this one up. We beat mono blue pretty easily there. I love that. Anytime I can beat mono blue, I'm gonna get a good mood, so we'll take it. By the way, rank's been going up heavily. If you guys didn't see the last two videos, we were down all the way to like 83, 84 because we were experimenting, but decided to pick up two really good decks. We made something really nice, so check out the last two videos if you guys can. Those ones were really competitive. All right, that's a good way to kick off today's video. We love that. I'm hoping we can get through with this video today without making too many misplays. That's my biggest concern because I've yet to play the anvil. I understand the anvil to an extent, but I do have a feeling I'm going to misplay it here and there for sure. Opening hand here, I can't keep because the mana's a little wonky. This is a lot better, actually. We'll put back the completed. This is a card that I'm not 100% sold on just yet. I have it in the deck because I do want to try it and see if we can get some you know, transformations with it into a creature, but we'll see. All right, we'll kick things off with the synthesizer. We don't want to play a land first just in case we top deck a land here, which we do. And the opponent is on Grixis. I'm sure it's going to be a mid-rangey deck. I'm sure we're going to see the Blood Tithe Harvester come down here on 2. Oh, it's 5 colors. Okay. Just kidding. I think while we've got the opportunity, we just play out the Fabled Mirror Breaker. Avoid any sort of counter magic that may be occurring here. And that way we can start spitting out some treasures because the treasures are going to be very important to what we're trying to do. But now they're on 3 mana, and they get their own Fable down. Interesting. Meathook probably not going to be super great here. I do love that, though. That's huge. Okay, so let's start off with an attack here. We'll start off with the 2-2 going in, because I'll make the trade with their 2-2 all day, because, I mean, we win that value race because we got a treasure out of ours. They don't. Or they can just let it go and, you know, go back and forth with me, which they decide they're going to do. But they don't know that we have a Braids to block with now, and we're going to end our turn. We are going to sacrifice an artifact, which they don't have. They take damage. We draw a card. Braids is going to be one of the key players in today's build. Braids mixed with Karn, absolutely busted. We just keep sacking these, you know, power stones, and they just keep eating damage and allowing us to draw cards. But the opponent does show us that they are running a Reanimator deck. We have no way of dealing with the graveyard currently. Ooh, you know what I should add to this deck, actually? Now that I'm thinking about it, we should probably add like a lantern to eat up our opponent's graveyard. That would be pretty busted. All right, that is just a spear. Okay, I thought that might have been an artifact creature, but it's not. All right, the opponent gives us a pretty good shot at their life total here with our attack this turn. Okay. Here's what I want to do. I think I want to Meathook for 1 here, because what they're probably going to end up doing here is blocking my 3/3 and my 2/2. If I do a Meathook for 1, instead of getting just 1 damage through, I would get 1, 2, 3 damage through. And I do lose my Voldaren, but I deal 1 that way as well. So I think that's the move here. The Meathook for 1 is looking pretty good. But that doesn't leave me much left over. I can play the Smelter. If I play the Smelter out, I don't have any mana to sack anything. But we're getting another treasure anyways. Yeah, the Smelter definitely needs to be coming down into play here. I am afraid of sweepers, that's for sure. Sweepers can be a bit of a problem in this position, but should be okay. I'm gonna go ahead and make them eat another 2 damage. We draw a card. It's an anvil. We'd love to see that. And now we've got a lot of damage here on the field. If we can get the Karn out next turn and start producing these power stones, we can get a little bit tricky with those. We can either sack them with the Smelter to create 3/1s. Okay, that's not good. Anvil's gonna have to carry the rest of the weight here. Or I can just win the game, actually. Yeah, let's just win the game. Let's just win the game here, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna pay the 1, sack our experimental. We get a 3/1 haste, and we attack their face for GG's. Let's go. We didn't even allow them to get off their reanimation spells, which I absolutely love. That went really smooth. I think I played that pretty good too, which I'm happy about, because I'm very nervous because I know I'm gonna make some crazy misplays in this deck. But that one worked out really nicely though, man. We took our time and perfect amount of lethal, which worked out nicely because I think that was going to start turning their way here pretty soon. GG. All right, what a game, baby. Let's go. 5 colors, man. They had that domain sweeper. That was nice, but they didn't actually, I think, take into account how much damage they were going to eat off of the Meathook Massacre. Opening hand here, man. Hoo-wee. As good as it looks, I mean, the mana is rough. All right, this we can save this, right? We can definitely save this. Again, I'd love to play this card early, but it doesn't provide much early game value for us. We're gonna have to wait till later to try to play it. But I'm gonna pass my turn because I'm hoping these maybe hit us a couple of lands here. We'll see. We might be in trouble, guys. It looks like mono red, and we have a lot of navigating to do here. But actually, the anvil's ready to go. I think that's going to be the play, actually. I think that's going to be the move. We gain life off the anvil, so that's going to be actually really helpful. It's going to be tricky, though, man. Anvil gets a little awkward when we're trying to sack tokens, but we also want to be sacking tokens with things like the smelter and whatnot. They have nothing to sack, so it's our turn. Let's go experimental here. Braids. That's so unfortunate. That is super unfortunate. We would have loved to have the braids there, but we don't get it, unfortunately. So now we get another anvil, and we say go. Now let's see, until the end of exile top of your library, until end of turn you may play that card. So it's not till the end of your following turn, which means that if we sack this experimental synthesizer here, we're not actually going to get the card. We're going to just lose out on it, unfortunately. Yeah, like I said, this one's not looking too good for us, guys. Unless we find a Meathook off the top somehow, we're in a lot of trouble here because they're off to the races. They're being very aggressive, and yeah, it's not looking too great. Really looking for that Meathook Massacre. No sacks on that. Let's create a 2/2 body to block with, hopefully keeping us alive at least for one more turn, and we get a couple of those artifacts as well, which is great news. Find the land again. Now here's the thing, right? I'd love to play my second synthesizer here, but if I do, I'm gonna lose whatever card I top deck, and 9 times out of 10 I get kind of screwed on that exchange, and I lose something good like that braids last time. So I'm gonna hang on to this until we can cast it and know that we can play the spell that we get off the top here. The opponent clearly has some sort of burn. Okay, that's fine, but we still have some good blocks here against the 3/1, and then also the Voldaren we'll trade with. We do take 7, but we can get some stuff going here, man. We could drop the synthesizer and kind of just rinse repeat the same scenario here, but they find themselves a squee, which is gonna probably get around enough of us to deal plenty of damage. Yeah, this is a bummer. We're taking way too much damage here. Where's that Meathook? Yeah. Where's that Meathook? That's not a Meathook. Come on, Meathook here. This is my last chance. Smelter. You smelter, you delter. Okay, let's see. What do we want to do? Probably, yeah. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so we're gonna smelter, and then we're going to defensively use the smelter here. We're gonna pay the 1. We're gonna sack the experimental synthesizer, creating a 3/1. Also 2 more 1/1 constructs. Drawing another card. We miss out. Unfortunate. I don't know why we just decided that you know, we're gonna flood out here, and It's kind of crazy that every card we've drawn with the synthesizer has been cards we couldn't play, but we are just top decking lands as our normal draws, which is super unfortunate. All right, so this is going to come down. They can't pump it up, so that's just a 2/2. I think they have enough here to get the job done, though, unfortunately. Here we go. Let's see how many exchanges we can get here, and if we can weasel our way out of this. Declare blockers. You here for sure. Let's just clean the board up best we can. Well, we take 3, we gain it's the best we can do, huh? Well, if we're gonna do it that way, then we're gonna have to just do it this way. Gonna have to do it like so. All right, it is what it is. We got out of this thing alive, at least for another turn. Again, if we top deck Meathook Massacre, it could be, you know, basically an angel saving our lives from doom. But no, unfortunately, we get another land. We flooded out, guys. There's not a lot you can do when you flood out like this. It's just super unfortunate that it happened that way, but there's nothing we could do. I mean, we only have 22 lands in the entire deck, so the fact that we hit all 22 in this game is a little wild. On to the next. All right, that was fun still. I mean, as sad as that game ended up being at the end there, it's still fun. If we found a Meathook Massacre, I'm telling you guys, we probably win that game pretty easily. We sweep the board there, we gain, you know, whatever, 5 life, 6 life, and then we're right back in it. But opening hand looks good, actually. I'm gonna keep it for sure. I'm just trying to figure out which 2-drop I want to play out first. Evolved Sleeper, huh? Evolved Sleeper. So I'm probably gonna want to play out the Harvester, and then yeah, let's go Harvester first. I think Harvester's great because it's not only a big body to block with, but it also can sack itself anytime to, you know, sweep up some of this nonsense. I may actually make the trade with the Sleeper here. I don't want the Sleeper to be able to draw them cards later, and you know, it gets even bigger than that, so it would be pretty annoying to see that happen. I think I want to do this. We're going to create the Thopter, and then we'll pass the turn. And then what's nice about this is the fact that we can not only kill Tenacious Underdog next turn if we need to, but if they play out a Liliana, that's also something we can do. They play out a Graveyard Trespasser, which we don't play off our graveyard too much, so I'm not too afraid of that. All right, we get a Voldaren. We kill this. All right, and I need another black source, man. That's what's really killing us right now, is not having that backup black source. I am gonna go with another Harvester and a Voldaren here, and then we've got a good block now against the Graveyard Trespasser, which is nice. And we got plenty of blood tokens for later to sacrifice. Yeah, I think we're in a pretty good spot here. But we are concerned about a lot of things with Mono Black, man. They have the Invoke Despair. They have some crazy nonsense they can be doing every turn. Liliana also kind of scares me a little bit, but I do have Braids to hopefully get down here pretty soon. Another Trespasser. Bummer. Yeah, we might sack one of these blood tokens. One of these blood tokens might have to go here. There we go. Beautiful. Glad we pulled that off, actually. All right, so let's go ahead and make this into a 4/4. Nice. We get the Braids, and we're going to get the Weatherlight completed down now. Let's go ahead and reread this one more time just to make sure I'm understanding. So as long as this is 4 counters or on it, it becomes a creature, which is great. We get the counters by sacking things, but or when things die. Whenever creature you control, right? So it has to be creatures. Okay, that's all I needed to know. Let's get this in for an attack. And let's give them the option here to sack their graveyard. I highly doubt they're going to. They allow me to draw a card, which means this gets a counter and we get to scry. I mean, it's another creature that I wouldn't mind sacking, to be honest. So let's go ahead and put it on top. Put it on top. It's a good chump blocker too, you know. We got him down to 15. I don't know. Not too sure if I want to be blocking this with my braids. My braids is a little bit too much value for us to lose out on. A third trespasser though. Ouch, man. It's a nightmare. That's actually a nightmare. All right, let's get this in first. See what we draw off the top of our deck. An anvil. I was gonna play one anyway, so that's nice. And you know what's also nice is the fact that what's really nice here is I can sack this Thopter, and it's not only an artifact, but it's a creature too. So puts us in a good spot. So let's just end our turn here. Sack the Thopter. Give them the opportunity to sack either a Trespasser or give me a card, which they do. We get 2 Anvil triggers, and we get to scry again. We don't need any more land. All right, everything's kind of coming online now. It took a little while to get here, but everything's starting to dial in and get online. Braids is a real key player in this deck, if you guys haven't noticed. It has been absolutely amazing for us. All right. We do have this. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We're going to allow that. We're going to go to... This is such a tricky deck to navigate. We're going to go here and here. We're going to take the 3, unfortunately. We are going to block sack these. Land, no good. We gain some life. And now we have the Thopter. I'm sorry, the Weatherlight. No lands, please. We now have a 5/5 body that can fly. And they have to sack the underdog. This is starting to pan out, guys. It's starting to pan out. I think I want to go with the Karn here. Karn is nice because it's continuous things that we can sack. I think that's the move here. Karn is the move here. We create the Power Stone. Everything we've been wanting to play is now on the field, so hopefully we can make do with everything that we have here. I think I want to leave this back to block, but at the same time dealing 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, we can kill him here. What am I saying? I forgot about the braids. Yeah, they're dead here. They're dead here. End the turn. Braids is gonna just sack an artifact, and bada bing, bada boom, GG's. Let's go, baby. I almost missed that lethal there. I was so focused in on leaving braids back as a blocker, it became almost like a routine. And so I didn't even think about attacking in with it there until the last second. And I'm like, wait a minute. What am I doing here? But GG's, guys. We got it all on the field, man. We got Karn. We got the Weatherlight, which we were able to activate. I take back what I said. This is the first time I actually got a chance to play this card. And it is actually a really good card for this deck. So on to the next. I think that right there was the beauty of what this deck does, right? Is it creeps up on you. You don't expect to lose games in the fashions that it gives you. Like, we really crept up the damage very slowly over time, and then next thing you know, we had lethal. And man, you gotta be ready for that lethal, because you may miss it. All right, a fellow Rakdos player as well. We got a pretty good 2-drop here brewing. I'm hoping that we can get down the braids here pretty fast. We'll see. Let's see if it's a mirror matchup. It could be. Going second against a mirror matchup is always a huge disadvantage, but I think I'm gonna get the Blood Tithe in here. And I think we were pretty smart to make those blocks early on in the last game. We might just do the same here. Blood Tithe Harvester. All right. I do wonder. Oh, Voltage Surge. Nice. Okay, so they just kill the Harvester outright, which is a bit of a problem. Meat hook though is not a problem. Love that. What do we do here? I think we're gonna go braids here. And the reason I think we're gonna go braids here is because meat hook for 2 is looking really good. And then if we can just find the land drops will be good. But if I sack my blood token, they'll probably just sack theirs in return, which is fine. Maybe that's not the move, guys. I don't know. Maybe it's this, and then we just try to find that extra land for the meat hook. Yeah, I think it's this. Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna sack our blood token and then drop probably like a declares war, and then hopefully hitting our 4th land drop, meat hook for 2, and we're good to go. The problem I'm having here with the braids play is that yes, it does come out there. We do sack the blood token, hopefully drawing a card, but they, you know, unfortunately they just, you know, they do their thing. They sack their blood token, and then our braids is sitting out there for a removal spell, which can't really have. Now a graveyard trespasser hits, a bit of a problem because that goes around my meat hook play next turn. All right, that's fine. We allow it. Battlefield during your turn. Create. Okay, so it's only during our turn. Just making sure I understood the anvil there, so I didn't try to make some constructs to block with. You know what I mean? Let's drop this like I said. All right, hoping for a land here. We don't find it. Bummer. Okay, well, we can go deeper with this. Ah, man, I really hope this hits. We're really far behind right now. That's about as unfortunate as it gets right there. Let's get this down then, and we'll make a block against the graveyard trespasser. Hopefully they don't have another removal spell for us here. Dang, this is a tough one, man. Going second here was really, really tough, and not finding that 4th land drop also might have just killed us here. If I can make a trade though with the trespasser, they deal 6 to us, and we do top deck that land. I mean, we're in good shape. They meat hook for me. Oh my god, thank you. I mean, it's not great because obviously they're meat hooking, which means damage is being dealt to me and they're gaining life, but we clear out 2 of their pretty big threats, so I mean, I'll take it. Is this that actually might be important to me in this next turn with the smelter, so we'll hold up on that. A Karn. Bummer. All right, and you know what? I'm actually gonna eat the synthesizer here. I think I'm gonna eat the synthesizer because I need to make sure I hit my land drop, and this could find me that land that we're looking for. It's a meat hook. Bummer, man. Bummer. No attacks. We have a good block here now against the trespasser. Dang, though, that really stinks. This is a really tough one, man. I don't think we navigated it as perfectly as I could have. But we've got a good hand. I mean, if I can get braids down and start doing this thing, we might be in good shape. But we're so far behind on the life total. And like I said previously, this deck really creeps up on you on lethal because they deal those passive amounts of damage over time. And now that they got meat hook down, that's even more true. All right. Well, this is a no-brainer block for me here, that's for sure. They're gonna gain 1, we lose 1. I should probably get my meat hook down as soon as I can, though, to kind of negate the meat hook's damage that they're getting off of theirs. All right, another anvil. We're struggling here, guys. We are struggling to find that land drop and find our value. We are going to sack the blood token here, which guarantees us now a land. I love that. But they have 2 underdogs with haste. I think we're okay to attack here, though, with the 1/1. As small of a detail that is, I think it's important, and I think we can get that in here because we're going to end our turn. We're going to sack the blood token, which gives us another construct, and then we draw a card. So I think that's fine. All right, Braids is online, which is fantastic. I am afraid of another Meat Hook, but they only have 2 cards we don't know about. Murder is one of them. Cool. All right, fair enough. There goes Braids. All right. And here comes a Blood Tithe, sure. Which gives us a good excuse to get the Meat Hook down if I can. But nope, we still don't find it. Unfortunate, man. I think it's time though for the Fable to come down, because not only does it provide us a good block here, it also creates us treasures potentially, and you know, we can use those treasures instead of the land that we're not finding. The opponent though is getting too much land, I would say. So there's a nice little trade-off thing happening with us here. If the opponent does, you know, blitz in one of these underdogs. Dang. Okay.
I'll have this fight finished before brunch. I've always hated
All right. They sack it to kill my 2/2. That's kind of unusual. I didn't expect that play. I thought for sure they might attack into us. All right. I mean, they're leaving their... Okay, I think our opponent didn't play this ideally, which is it might actually come back and help us out on this. Yes, we're definitely going to drop some cards here because we need to find some land here, man. There it is. Oh, thank goodness. And it's a Braids on top of that. We definitely attack, though, into Liliana. We play out the Braids 100%. And we end our turn by sacking the 1/1 construct. That seems fine. All right, they could sack their blood token, which they might do. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. We're no, they do. Okay. All right. I mean, we're still in this, guys, but we're definitely the underdog here. That's for sure. All right, we got to get our Meat Hook down though, so we can stop eating this Meat Hook damage from our opponent though. I mean, they've really allowed us back into this game though. Let's be honest. Like their gameplay has been a little strange, in my opinion. I mean, obviously everyone has their own opinions, but in my opinion, a little strange, just because they could have been attacking in more than they have. They've sacked their own creatures to their own Meat Hooks and abilities to take care of what I think are lesser creatures. All right. We gain 1, we deal 1, and then they don't get that attack through. So we mitigate the Meat Hook damage we're going to take from the underdog, you know, leaving the battlefield here. Go back to 4. All right, they have something for Braids. Maybe they have a 2-mana spell that they can cast here, it looks like, or it's just a blood token that's holding priority. It's a blood token. Okay. We do get another blocker with the Fable, which I absolutely love. All right, I think I want to get this down for 0, to be honest, and then just get this down for 0. And then another Fable the Mirror Breaker play here. All right, this gives us a really awkward turn though, because it means that we don't have a great sacrifice for the anvil to go off on. So I think what I'm gonna do, man, Braids may need to attack, or Braids might need to block here, if I'm being honest. But I don't think there's a world where I do block with Braids. I really don't. If we end up having to block with Braids, things have gone real sideways. So we're gonna just attack in here. Opponent's gonna sack their blood token, it looks like. And then I think what I'm gonna actually do here is I'm gonna sack my Fable of the Mirror Breaker, believe it or not. That might not seem like a super high value play there for us, but maybe it's the land. Yeah, actually it's the land. It's definitely the land. All right. See if our opponent wants to give up a land. I didn't think they would. There we go, and we're good to go. Now we've got a 2/2 body that's going to produce treasures, hopefully for us to sacrifice to the anvil. If we have to use it to block an underdog, I will, as long as you know, Karn's coming down. That is an absolute problem, ladies and gentlemen. Shieldred might be the game deciding factor here. In fact, I would imagine that it is. I don't have any good ways to get rid of it. Yeah, I think we lose this game now. That is unfortunate, man. That is unfortunate. All right. Let's drop both of those. We draw more land. Oh, I just killed myself. It is what it is. I was dead either way, but yeah, I just killed myself. I forgot about Shieldred. We were toast. We were toast. That's unbelievable. Let's see what my play would have been had I not made that silly error there with the Shieldred. I would have played Karn. I would have created a Power Stone probably. But our only way out of that potentially would have been to drop an anvil and then start sacrificing certain artifacts to gain life back to try to balance with the Shieldred. We could have sacrificed one treasure, but that's all we would have had that turn. So we would have been a bit of a tough spot there with that. We can't really attack through Shieldred. We could have got a bit of damage here and there, but we were pretty much locked out of the game once that hit. I don't have spot removal in the deck, so aside from Blood Tithe Harvester and Meat Hook, there was no other option. So unfortunate. It is what it is. And then I end it too with a silly little play like that. All right, before we get out of here, we'll see if we can just squeeze in one more game, hopefully a quick one. Hopefully this makes the cut, but that was fun, man. That was fun. Even though we lost that game, that was a fun one. I knew we were in a bad spot there, going second on a mirror matchup anyways. It happens. But this deck was really cool, man. I'm really happy we got to showcase how it looks with Karn being on the battlefield and everything. So all right, this is interesting. Interesting little hand we got here, but the mana is a little too much if I'm being honest. Hopefully we get a Fable on the Mirror Breaker and we can drop some of this. No blocks because we know that they're going to pump it to a 2/2. We're not falling for your nonsense. All right, we actually get a Braids, which is so fantastic. All right, we're going to go ahead and get down the Blood Tithe Harvester here. Attack into the opponent. And now we've got plenty of things we can sacrifice with the Braids in order to get full value out of it. All right, I am going to make this block, though, if they're going to attack into us. That seems like a no-brainer to me, if I'm being honest. Ah, I see. Smart play. Smart play by the opponent to crew up the Bank Buster there. But we are going to go for the Braids play, like I said. I'm going to lead back my Voldaren here as a blocker. Leave Voldaren as a body to block with here. And they take one, or they take the 2 and they gave me the card. I know I could have sacked the Blood Tithe Harvester there to kill this thing, but I think I'm okay with the board state that I currently have, and I'd rather dish out the 3 damage because I think we're going to creep up that life total very fast here with what we've got brewing. All right, they crew again. All right, we're going to see who can be a little bit quicker here on the draw. I have 6 damage sitting here in their face with potentially 9 damage with the Smelter. Let's play this first. See what we hit. See if it changes anything here. I doubt it, but Anvil. Do we try? Okay, so do we try to close here, or do we try to go Anvil and go longer game with this? Gosh, Anvil seems fun. Not gonna lie. It just seems like the longer game play. I could play out the Smelter right now, play a land, sack the Synthesizer, attack in with 9 damage, and then sack something for an additional 2, but that's not enough to kill them. So I am gonna go with the long game here. It's a bit of a bummer, but I think it's the right play here. We're gonna go the long con, and then we attack in with just the Braids actually, because I'm gonna leave my Blood Tithe back to block with, and then we'll also be creating a construct as well to block with. We'll end our turn. We'll sack this, giving them the option to sack their Bank Buster, which is super high value for us. They do. Let's go. Okay, and then we get a construct to block with as well. I didn't expect them to actually drop it that early. I thought for sure they'd try to get one more attack through, but we're creating the bodies on the field, so not a surprise that they're all right, let's see. So if the opponent plays out a land and an Invoke Despair, we're going to be taking quite a bit of damage here, so we should be blocking some of this without a doubt. I think I want to do this and kill this. Well, that's actually going to grow. What am I saying? That's a big mistake. That's better. All right, so they're going to grow with the Sleeper, obviously, if they would have blocked, if I would have blocked with the Blood Tithe Harvester in that sense. But we're going to sack this, gain some life, deal some damage. I am afraid, though, of our opponent obviously running out and Invoke Despair. We would lose Braids in that sense. But they didn't drop a land pre-combat. Oh, there it is. We might have got here. Okay, cool. I thought maybe we were going to get away with it because they didn't drop that land prior, but that was a close one. That was a close one. All right, we're going to go here. I think this is a priority for sure. Okay, we'll just drop everything here. But if we do drop everything, then the Smelter's not going to get a 3-1 construct, which I think I want to get. You know what? I am going to do that. I'm not going to go with the Valdarin here. Not going with the Valdarin. I'll sack a land, I think. All right, here we go. Yeah. Sorry, a lot of thinking going on here, which means my commentary is probably not the best. All right, we're going to go ahead and create a 3-1. Also another construct, which we can sack to the Braids or a land, like I said. I'm going to swing this in. They probably block with the Underdog. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Either way, we're dealing a lot of damage if they don't. And Braids is going to deal them damage too. All right, cool. Which means the Weatherlight completed. It's going to scry for us. Don't need another one of those. We'll sack the constructs. Actually, if we sack the construct, we don't have a good blocker. So, you know, we are going to go for the land play here. I think we are going to go for the land. And that'll keep them off of an Invoke Despair if they end up having one in hand here, because they're not going to want to give up the land. Wow, they do sack the land. Okay. Good, good, good. And now we have a good block sack with the Anvil to gain some life again. And Weatherlight's going to scry for us again. Everything's going well right now. I feel like we have a pretty good like deck against the mono black decks, to be honest. Tough to say though. Are they going to get defensive, or are they going to keep sending this damage through? They keep sending it. We sack this, which does activate the Weatherlight's ability again, and if I can somehow sacrifice 2 more creatures here, we can get this thing activated and go over the top, hopefully for some damage to win the game. This makes things really tricky, by the way. I got a little quiet here because that actually does change things quite a bit. But we do have the Valdarin. And we have the Smelter. Now I could go double smelt here and probably just win the game, right? 3, 6. If I go double smelter here, I sack that. So double smelter will allow us to get 6 damage through, leaving him to 1. So if I go Anvil first, I think I have lethal here. If I can get this Anvil to go off first, it creates us as construct, but the big thing is here is it's dealing 1 to our opponent's face, right? And now we use both of these 1/1s, both of these smelters to sack both of these. That's fine. Doesn't matter. We're trying to win the game right here and now. And then we do this. And now we should have enough for lethal. Now we should have enough for lethal. Oh, I didn't realize the smelter I played last turn. Okay, so we had lethal either way, no matter which way you sliced it. But this way, at least we get around a cut down too, so that's kind of nice. Well, if they block there and there. Well, they could get out of this with the cut down. if they cut down a 3-1. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty good for us there. GG's, man. I think we have a really good game against mono black because we're both trying to grind. I think we just grind a little bit better, but let's break this thing down. That is going to conclude today's gameplay portion of the video. We are going to break the deck down now and talk about it in depth a little bit more. But before I do so, I wanted to give a huge shout out to everyone who made it this far into the video. It means the absolute world to me. It helps out so much with the YouTube algorithm. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it. With that being said, though, let's talk about the list. So the obvious elephant in the room, the card we built this deck around, Karn Living Legacy. I've been trying so many different ways to play this card. Nothing's quite worked out nearly as well as this. There are some ideas that I'm on the brink of kind of getting through to. Hopefully next week we'll have another Karn deck, but we'll see. But man, Rakdos, I think, is the home for this card because, again, creating these power stones, you know, these are artifacts that are pretty much useless if you're not running a pure artifact deck or, you know, having some abilities that you got to pump a bunch of mana into. So basically we can use these stones as sacrificial fodder every single turn to, create these opportunities for the anvil to create as constructs and things like that. So it made a lot of sense to just put it into the anvil shell. And from there, we knew we had to build a pretty standard anvil shell. In the early game, we've got a lot of the same faces we normally see. We got the Voldaren Epicure, as well as the Smelter and Harvester. These things we knew we had to have because not only are we trying to deal damage quickly with the Smelter and create more bodies to eventually sacrifice later, but also the Harvester creating us blood tokens is really nice because we can use those as well, and it's a good body to attack with, being 3 power. And then a Voldaren also creating blood tokens. So there's a lot there that we already knew and where to start from. And from there, I wanted to get unique. I wanted to try some new cards and see how that felt, and a lot of these cards felt really good. Surprisingly, Braids feels like it was also tailor-made for this type of deck because we're going to be sacrificing things, and when we want to make sure we're drawing a card and our opponent has no options to sacrifice, we can always go for an artifact because most people aren't having many artifacts on the field. So Braids can just sack an artifact or a power stone, create this construct, and draw us a card free of charge, and the opponent's not going to have anything to say about it, which is really nice. Excuse me. And then I also wanted to try out the Weatherlight Completed. This was a card that I actually had in the deck before I had Karn in it. I built this deck a long time ago. It had the Weatherlight Completed in it, but it didn't have Karn. Karn was a late addition, but Weatherlight Completed I wasn't sure about, so I splashed 2 in it. But man, was I kind of wrong about this card. It's a key player here. It showed up big time when it got some play. It actually worked out extremely well, being able to get these counters on it very quickly, and becoming a 5/5 is not that hard. And then I wanted to try this Yotia Declares War, this thing, or Yosha. I'm not sure how to say that, but this thing is really cool too, because for the early game, creating the stop threat is not that great, but being able to tap a bunch of artifacts to kill something potentially is really good early on. We can really shut down any sort of 2-drop play that they may have if we go first. And then maybe like their Tenacious Underdog, we can kill it right away the moment it comes in, and then they just basically wasted a turn. And then from there, we can put some early damage on the opponent and create some pressure. So I thought this was a pretty good fit as well. And then obviously had to have the Meat Hook in case we go against mono white, mono red type stuff, or even enchantments. We're going to need a Meat Hook for that. And we can ramp into the Meat Hook with the Fable because it creates obviously some treasures for us. So this made a lot of sense as well to have in the deck. And lastly, I went with the Experimental Synthesizer. I thought this card was super overrated, to be honest, at first. Didn't have it in the deck. I actually elected to have something else in the 1-drop slot over this, but it wasn't actually the 1-drop slot. It was a 2-drop slot. I'll show you guys exactly what card I was talking about. I had another card in this spot that I thought was a lot better, but man, I was wrong. I had this, the statue in here. I thought this coming in and dealing damage would be really nice, becoming a 3/3. But a lot of times our opponent had things to get around this or bigger creatures. And this just actually being able to just sack it and just continuously pull cards from the top of our deck, a lot more important than I thought. So this was actually a much better choice in my opinion. But ultimately, that's how we put the deck together. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This one was a pleasure to make. It had I had a lot of fun with this one. Hopefully I didn't misplay too hard, but I hope you guys enjoyed, man. Before I hop out of here, as always, a huge shout out goes to the Marty Mob. If you guys don't know, the Marty Mob is the membership program here on the channel. Got to give them a huge shout out and show them some serious love every single time because they help support the channel with their monthly memberships, and I can't do this genuinely without them. So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, I can't say enough about you. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. And with that being said, though, another good one coming tomorrow. It's going to be a teamer list, a very unique teamer list. So be on the lookout for that. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow, though. Same time. Till next time. Peace.
Hit him 3 times like a hat trick. The name is Swayze, no Patrick. If you play him, then it's tragic. Hit him with the mythic, yeah, that's magic. Yeah, MTG, that's what you'll see if you like and subscribe. Where's the upload, man? Man, all of the time. Coming with the best decks, this is the meta. This ain't cheap, yeah.